Is your company looking at starting identity and access management? Well, here are 3 common mistakes that I see companies make when starting and implementing identity and access management. Hello and welcome. My name is Zachary Heinel with Dorado Defense. So the top 3 pitfalls that I commonly see at a business is password policies, excessive privileges, and multi-factor authentication. Now, let's dive into each of those a little bit. So, the very first one, poor password policies. You typically see companies err on the side of either more frequent password changes and opting for a less secure password versus a more secure password and less frequent changes. Now, depending on the business, they might have external regulations that they might have to meet. There's a myriad of different reasons. But choosing the right password and the policies behind it for your business is a key to setting the culture at your company, especially when it comes to security. If you're requiring your company, your employees to change their passwords every month, and they have to at least be 7 characters and they're non-complex, well, that's going to be a far less effective security measure and a lot more annoying than say, hey, we're going to make it 15 characters. It has to be complex, but you only have to change it once a year. So that's one thing that I commonly see as a pitfall for companies implementing identity access management. The second one is excessive privilege. Now, within security, we have what's called least privileges, and that means that an individual should only get the amount of access they need to do their job and no more. That means that if, say, I'm a construction worker and I need to just be entering data, I shouldn't have the ability to have administrative access to the tooling, to my laptop, to financials. I don't need that. It's not in my job purview, and I don't need access, and I shouldn't have access to that. Versus, say, somebody in the financial realm to where, okay, we have access to sensitive data, but hey, I might not have access to audit that sensitive data because that's outside of my purview. So those are 2 different conflicting or, opposing views to that. And the third common pitfall I see nowadays is multi-factor authentication. Especially when you're starting out with identity and access management, it's the key time, the easiest time for you to implement multi-factor authentication. And it's becoming just more and more prevalent within any industry today, especially with cybersecurity insurance, with regulations as a standard best practice to implement. Because everybody has key data that they want to protect, that they hold sensitive, and that should be protected by multi-factor authentication. Now, which type of multi-factor authentication that you implement depends on your business. You might choose to do a software one-time password. You might choose to do a YubiKey, something hardware related. It really depends on the business and what they have access to. So these are the 3 common pitfalls that I see with businesses trying to implement identity and access management. If you have questions about these, drop a comment. If you know another common pitfall, let people know. You never know who you might be helping. So if you want to get in touch with me, reach out at doradodefense.com. Have a great day.